Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first Patreon devlog. Basically, what I wanted to do was start kind of maybe a couple times a month, maybe once a month, twice a month, I don't know, I haven't decided yet, but when I wanted to come out with these kind of little presentation videos showing you as a Patreon kind of what's coming up for testing. So what basically my whole plan for Patreon is, you guys are basically the supporters, you're the testers, you're the early access guys who get all the bugs worked out. I've gotten probably the best feedback I ever have for mods and fixes and all that kind of stuff through Patreons. I never ever got that kind of feedback before when I did it publicly. So basically you guys are the eyes and the ears behind helping all of this stuff come to life, and so far it's been nothing but a good time. So anyway, with this very first video that we're going to be doing, one of many I'm hoping, we're going to kind of cover what's coming out in the next month, so that'll be for the February. So first of all, this map is going to be one of the things that's coming out. It's almost done. There's still a few things that I'm just checking off on the list here, cleaning up a few areas and making sure everything's right. The other thing that's going to be coming out will be this processor, the Medill here. And I'll get into that in a second here. Actually, maybe we'll talk about the Medill first, then we'll do the rest of the map here. So, out of popular request, I had a lot of people ask me to put a fixed processor head or dangle head. I did try both variations and found that the fixed head was definitely the better option. So I ended up putting that on this Medill here. A lot of people said they wanted a cab that was a lot higher up for processing, and that's exactly what we got here. As you can see, we sit quite a lot higher than all the other standard processors that are on the ground, and I think a lot of people wanted that feature. Oh, one of my joysticks isn't working. So that's going to make it hard to demonstrate if one of them is a little off kilter here. So maybe we can do it the old-fashioned way with our old, if I can even remember the mouse controls. God, I haven't done this in so long without it. Well, whatever. You guys know how the fixed heads work. I don't need to test that right now. But yeah, it cuts exactly the same as all the other fixed heads. It's just a lot nicer having something that's a bit above ground, a bit higher up, and it's easier to pile too. Like I said, when you're working with the bigger trees, you can really line them up a lot better on the ground as well. So yeah, so that guy's going to be coming out. Again, I'm just finishing a little bit of testing. I redid the heads on all these processors as well, so there's a little bit of finicky stuff that I'm doing there. Basically, just make them run a lot smoother. Also, performance-wise, a lot of the processors' heads are a lot better. They take up less VRAM, they take up less data when you're processing, so you won't see as much lag or frame rate drop while using the new processor heads as well. So yeah, that's coming out as well. What I was going to do is I'm going to do a tour of the map here, kind of show you what's new and what's changed and how future maps are going to be built. But before I do, what I have done also this month, I'm doing my first public pack that's going to be coming out for non-Patreons, because as to the Giants TOS agreement, you have to, well, I don't really understand quite. There's a whole bunch of different ways people are interpreting the way that rules of Giants work, but in this case I'm going to be releasing it public because obviously if you're going to be paying for mods, you know, like via Patreons, it has to come out eventually publicly, or else you're officially paying for a product, and that's against the rules, so you can't do that. So what'll happen is every 2 to 3 months, depending on how Patreons do the beta testing and how well it goes, I'll be releasing a new pack that will basically just give access to most of the machines. Not every machine is going to be included in the public pack, as some of them are still not complete in the Patreon process. We're still getting some feedback from a couple testers. So, yeah. Basically, what's happening is that pack will be coming out in February for everybody to play with, and you guys as Patreons are definitely going to be getting that pack first, and what's in that pack is all the new version 10 machines. So basically, the machines have been reworked. They've been reworked via their sound. They've been reworked on the tracks. Like I said, the processors have all been cleaned up. All the files have been cleaned up, so a lot of them are a lot smaller than they used to be, so they take up less space on your hard drive. They're cleaner, and their performance is, yeah, a lot better. Like I've seen at least a 30 to 40% increase in frames since redoing the models and redoing the bodies a little bit. cleaned up some of the physics that weren't necessary in the heads, especially on the grapples and stuff like that. Yeah, it's been quite the little ordeal and workover project, but all your favorite mods are going to be coming out for version 10, and like I said, Patreons will definitely be getting access to that before everybody else. I'm probably aiming for a mid-February release for the version 10 for public, so that'll mean probably first week of February, the version 10s for Patreons will be coming out. And then after the version 10s are out, I'll release this machine. And after that's done, it'll probably be the last week. I should be done it by then. The rest of this map will be complete, and I should be able to release it by then. We're just working on a couple little texture details and a couple other things that haven't gone through 100% yet. So yeah, version 10 will be coming out in February for all the machines, so that'll be a big pack for you guys to get updated on. The Medill processor will be coming out, so that'll be fun for a lot of people who wanted the higher up logging and higher up piling. And then this map, which I would love to take you on a tour on. So let's go grab ourselves our favorite Duramax. And this Duramax was actually modeled after my very own truck that I had. Love that thing. I actually just recently sold my truck because, well, I wanted to downgrade and save a little bit of money, but I was also having a couple problems with it that I wanted to get sorted out, so that's now fixed up. So now I'm driving a SUV version of pretty much the same thing, and the cab interior looks almost identical to my truck. So anyway, that's a little off topic there, but I figured it'd be fun to throw in. So this new map is called Jade Mountain. And it has, immediately you'll notice the tree types have gone back to the original style. So we have a lot of these way taller trees. They are a pain in the ass to skid because they are so long, but when you're processing, man, do you get a shit ton more wood per tree because they're just so long, right? Also, bunching is a little bit more of a challenge. It's hard to get multiple trees because they're so darn big and so darn heavy. You have to use a lot of skill and be really careful to get those trees out of there. So that's one nice additional update. Let's see here. So yeah, basically I've gone back to that new tree method. The trees are changed a little bit. They're a little bit lighter, but they're also have a little bit different friction scale and some physics on them to make them operate a little bit better. A lot easier to stack, a lot easier to load. Overall, they're just a way better physics tree. So there's only about 3 variations on this map, which is pretty much all we'll need for the most part. Yeah, we'll see what comes out later. Might be doing some more winter maps, or I don't know. I got some fun ideas coming here down the pipe. So, but yeah, I was gonna take you on a quick little tour, just show you kind of how it is here. This is definitely one of my more favorite maps now. As far as the old maps go, I won't be updating the old maps, like the old, Pacific Inlet and all that stuff. I'm pretty much done with those. They will not be getting retreed or remapped or anything like that. Jade Mountain is the very first in a new series of maps that's going to come out, and there will be no updates to the older ones. They are sitting at version 10 and they're staying there. So starting with Jade Mountain, this is going to be version 11 right off the bat, and that'll basically just be the new set of maps. So if you're expecting the other ones to change, they won't. They are staying the same. Another thing that's really nice with these maps is these trees look beautiful at a distance. They don't have that blurpy, bloppy looking shitty look. I did try to correct that on the old maps, but I'm running into an issue where the load distance isn't quite rendering properly. I think the texture got corrupt, but no matter what I change it to, they always end up bloppy, and the only way to fix it would be to tear all the trees out and retree every map, and I just do not have the time to do that. So I know Chad is doing lots of updates on the console versions right now. He's putting out like the Seasons mods and a whole bunch of other stuff to make them the way they are. So you may see versions of these maps show up on ModHub, and that'll be on behalf of him. But I don't submit my stuff to ModHub. It goes straight through Mega and Patreon and YouTube of FDR Logging. I don't usually do to affiliate sites. The public pack I may release to ModHub, like the shitty, weird, Euro-y mod hubs that share everybody's mods, just so it's out there and people have a version of it. But we'll see what happens. I'm not entirely sure what the plan is. So yeah, this map is pretty neat. It's got lots of quirky little places to go. Lots of logs to haul. the logs you'll notice are spaced out a little bit more so than some of my other maps. I know a lot of the other maps, the logs were pretty much wall to wall, but when you get these bigger trees, it's really difficult if you have them just, you know, penciled all over the place in mass quantity. So I gave a little bit of space for the trees so you can got a little bit more, you know, maneuverability when you're logging. Whoops. And my truck here is getting hung up on stuff, so let's see where else we can go with this. So yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite little maps. It was more like what was happening with the old maps is I was starting to get into kind of the habit of just kind of copy. It felt copy-pasty, you know. I'd make a map, and like ever since Smoky Mountain, I think I kind of lost my genuine artistic want to make a special map. It just felt like I was kind of rushing through them and making, you know, kind of boring blah blah blah. Larkin was one that I actually put a lot of love into as well. Larkin, Pacific Inlet, and Smoky are my definitely top favorites for sure. Emerald's also a nice map as well, but even down that road, it was kind of more copy-paste for me. So this one, I spent a lot of time on making these little valleys and little roads and little sections and neat little hidden kind of cubby holes for you to go log in. There's also a really cool yarder spot. We've actually been playing with this map on the multiplayer right now, and we've found some really cool spots to yard wood out of with your buddies. So if you're looking for a good yarder map, this one's actually quite the challenge, and it's a really good time to have with your friends. But like I said, there's lots of flat spots as well if you're looking for a more simple way to do things. So this was one spot we set up with the yarder up here because you're able to access all this timber across, but it's a really hard access, right? So the only thing that really gets you over there is probably a yarder, unless you got somebody like Chad, who's on our team, who can go up there with a buncher and probably huck them across and somehow magically line them up. But if you don't have one of those on your team, then you definitely would want to use the yarder for that. It's really good, or even the line skidder works pretty well if you can get it down low enough. But yeah, we set up right on this corner and started pulling everything up this hill, and it worked out quite fantastically. So yeah, it's a really fun little map. It's hilly, but it's not so challenging that it's frustrating. It's just I don't know, it's a good time. I really was proud of this one. And like I said, you know, it all lures down to a lake here, so the roads continue down, 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 and then there's all that timber down on that side there, and that'll take you a while. It took us probably, I don't know, probably eight or 9 sessions I think I got out of it, and those were like probably 2 to 3 hour sessions for 4 of us or 5 of us to clear this whole block up top here. Again, it's not a lot of wood when you look at it, but because the trees are so much taller, you do get a lot more loads out of the smaller areas. So definitely makes it more challenging, but it's really is a fun time just to see what you can accomplish with such a small area. And yeah, I mean, you guys will all find your own little ways of logging, and should be pretty fun for you. But yeah, that basically kind of sums up the map. I'll let you guys tour it yourselves here in February. You'll be able to run around and log till your heart's content. But like I said, I put a lot of love into this one, and you know, this is a Bob Ross would be proud kind of map because it's very scenic, it's very beautiful. It puts a lot of good feelings in your heart, as he would say. So I hope you guys get a chance to play this one and log the hell out of it, and yeah, that pretty much sums that up. So yeah, as far as devlog goes, I guess that's pretty much all I have for you for February. I'm going to put out probably another one near the end of February or maybe January, showing you what's coming the next month. And yeah, I kind of want to keep these going just to kind of keep in touch with the Patreons especially. I find posting on Patreon pages, it works, but there's a lot of miscommunication, and you know, people don't feel as though they really can connect. So I mean, if you guys ever have any questions as Patreons that you want to ask me directly, or if you have any, you know, thoughts or anything that you want to put out, I know the public page is a little bit tricky to try to, you know, keep in touch with me. So I mean, you're welcome to send me an email at FD review say FDR, it's FDreviews@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on the Patreon page as well. Send a public message or send a message private to ask me any questions. But I mean, feel free to share your opinions or thoughts, or if you have any ideas or anything you'd like to ask me. I am definitely a very open developer that wants to talk to the people who are supporting it. So you guys are the bread and butter to keeping this whole thing alive, and you know, I can't thank all of you enough for what you've done so far. And the more people we have to join, the more money, the better models. I'm working with a new modeler now. Well, possibly two. I haven't got 100% locked down on the other one yet, but yeah, I'm hoping to be able to get maybe 2 to 3 mods a month. With the money we're making now, I should easily be able to afford 2 to 3 mods a month. And then basically it just comes down to what do we want to make, and that's pretty much how it's going to go. So yeah, I don't know. It's really exciting to see that we're building here, and I really want to get back into making more maps like this because I love this kind of stuff. It's just beautiful, and I want to make more machines, and I have lots of funky plans that'll be coming over the next few months. I don't want to spoil anything too early because I got some pretty fun ideas. But yeah, you guys will see. So anyway, that's pretty much the end of episode 1 for our developer video. Again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Any ideas, let me know. It's going to be an interesting next few months, and I can't wait to share it all with you. So until next time, we'll see ya. Thanks.